So okay, everyone says it's okay. Okay, that's fine. So do you have anything specifically you want to talk about first, or I guess we should just like, how
Uh,
are you? How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
It's the weekend, so yeah.
Slow day.
I I woke up like 30 minutes before this.
Oh yeah,
But
you're in
yeah,
PST, so you're 3 hours.
yeah, and I was
Yeah,
up late
yeah.
last night gaming, so yeah, doing pretty good.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I guess we could just go through the entire frequently asked questions. I guess the hard drop
Sure,
section.
sure.
Yeah, I guess we could just go down. And honestly, a lot of this I was planning to just a lot of it was planning to listen to what and sort of get an understanding on your side of things because I know we don't really talk ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be good to just have something like this open discussion and then so we can understand each other's sides. I feel like the hard drop section of the frequently asked questions was created for a reason, and I read it over. There's some good points made here, and then there's some others that I want would like more clarification
Clarification.
on.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure, for
Yep.
sure. I mean, again, the way I sort of like to conduct these sorts of things is I don't really care about like who wins the argument or the debate,
Uh-huh.
right? This is it's
Yeah.
not really about winning, right? So like
Mhm.
things like the questions channel or like any argument about any subject, it's not about like, oh, I won the debate, here's the evidence of why I won and you lost, right? It's more about
Right.
like, okay, can we come to an understanding and try and figure out
Mhm.
what the sort of the truth behind the matter is, right?
Right. So when we were talking a little bit in DMs about that, that's more of a reason that I wanted to talk to you about it directly.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
because there's I mean we're just trying to understand each other better. There's not like oh I win you lose type of thing.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's more childish. It's
It's
just we're
not it's
trying to
not very
figure this out.
constructive, at least.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. So I'm glad we got that out the way. So should we just go down the list right now, or what?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So the separations of identity. Should I read this or?
um
Or we
y-
link the chat, or
yeah,
I
you
mean, you
can
know
you
what
can
you
link it
wrote,
if you want.
or should we just like you and me?
Yeah, let's just
Okay,
talk. You don't worry about chat
okay,
right now.
okay. All right, so let me see here. The main issue: there's no separation between Blink and HardDrop. He has received criticism in the past about this, as seen in the Reddit post. I do remember the Reddit post made from Chaff Cancel. It was about
Hmm.
like a year and a half ago, something like that. And
Yeah, it was a
I
while
did
ago.
respond to him. I did respond to him on Reddit, but there's no type of follow up afterwards. Um, on the surface, this may seem pretty reasonable okay, let me skip to the criticisms. 99% of the streams on the official Hard Drop channel are just Blink's personal stream when they drown out the rare official community tournaments that are on the channel. Okay, so I do agree that the Twitch channel currently is primarily dominated by me.
Hmm.
Aside from when there's tournaments, when there's events going on, which are few and far in between. Okay, so something that might help. Let me talk a bit about the streaming background of the Hard Drop community. So streams have been going on since the start of Hard Drop. Maybe like they started around 2010, and it was back on Ustream at the time. And
Hmm.
back then, we were using the stream to sort of like show the world what high level competitive Tetris looked like. But at the time, it was me. It was basically just me streaming on there against like players like Samaf and Hebo Mai and things like that. We would have like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks as a way to promote the community and also to show others what competitive Tetris looked like. And aside from that, it was the hard drop hosted tournaments. So I would say almost a similar setup to today, except we also had so back then the stream was open in the sense that I would share the password out. I would share the password out with community members. So people would also stream their Tetris events or just them streaming Tetris. They're playing like Tetris free for all, something like that.
Hmm.
So it was
Just
like
to like get more info out there, right, about
yeah,
competitive. Yeah, for sure.
and so that the channel wasn't like inactive all the time. Because if it was only streaming, because I did read one of your proposed solutions of only have it stream for community events. And we for a while we did do that. We did do only community events, and the stream was completely dead. It was only HDOs being streamed and TTOs, and that was once every several months. The stream was being used.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like that was sort of a waste of of
Of the channel,
um
I guess. Yeah.
of the community channel. Yeah,
Hmm.
I felt that was a waste of the community channel. And so when Puyo Puyo Tetris came out, so this is when I started streaming more regularly, and this is when the stream started becoming, I guess it felt like a lot more of me, my personal stream. It was when the Puyo Puyo Tetris came out in 2017, and I felt like that was a great opportunity to try to tap into new members, attracting new members to HardDrop from Puyo Puyo Tetris, because I knew that it's a new game, it's a fresh game. We were stuck with Tetris Friends for this entire time. Here's Puyo Puyo Tetris coming out in America. This is like a great opportunity to recruit a lot of new members or pull in a lot of attention and members to the community. So that's when I started streaming regularly, and that's when I guess you would say that the stream started becoming dominated by my own streams, like my own streams on the channel, trying to play PPT, bring people in.
Hmm.
But I I do agree that that there should be more content than personal streams and tournaments on the channel. I think so. When I read this initially, I thought, yeah, okay, I can see that. And so I started reaching out to a couple of people to hopefully we can share the stream and bring uh, more type of segments to the stream. So it's not just me; it's also other members of the community to also stream on the Hard Drop channel.
More like a show rather than just like this is my gameplay stream,
Yes,
right? For
yes,
sure.
and yeah, I because I thought that would be a great thing for the community, and I thought that you brought up a good point that right now is dominated too much by my own solo streams. The reason that like it did not used to be that way. It used to be other people solo streaming on the channel too. Problem with that was we started having people kind of tiptoeing the terms of service, and it
Yeah.
yeah, so people and not just that, but so tiptoeing terms of service, talking about like self harm and things like that, and so I had to revoke the password once. Then we tried it again. We tried it again where allowing other people to stream, and then all of a sudden I found people streaming on the channel who I didn't give the password to, so someone was giving other people passwords.
Hmm.
So it started becoming kind of a mess where allowing others to stream on the channel, I had to put a stop to that. But I think that we'll give it another go. Actually, I know for sure we're gonna give it another go. After reading your fact like last week, I was like, you know what? Let's add more content to the channel, more segments to the channel, or more shows. And when I stream, it could be something else. It could be called like um, its own type of segment, like founders something, and then other people have their own segments if they want to stream on the channel. But we already have Michael Bliss is gonna do like coaching every week or other week that he's down to do, and then there was I know that mine from Tetra Legends or from Tetra Online said
Tetra
he would be down.
Studios.
Yeah, from Tetra Studios, he said he'd be down to do like speaking development update type of stream, like every now and then. And then we had a couple of other people. I was just reaching out to people that I knew and trusted at the time. But this was like during this week. But there was another person who wanted to do interviews of people within the community. Um, and then there was been suggestions of the HDO, like HDO talks with the players while they're watching their own match, and what were they thinking at the time. I guess that's called analysis or review,
Hmm.
match review. But yeah, basically I agree. I stream too much on the channel. I've actually cut down a lot pretty recently because I've been so busy with work and school. But I agree that we should allow more than just because I'm not the community. I'm one person in the community. I may be uh, a big part of the community because I'm the founder of it, but
Hmm.
I'm completely open to allowing people to stream on the channel. And in fact, we used to do it. Like we used to do it. It's just it was stopped and it was pulled away because of what happened in the past. But
Yeah, for sure. I think a new sort of infrastructure and
mm,
almost like sort of like a way of doing things, like definitely just like giving people passwords and stuff is kind
yeah,
of
that
not
was
the best way to do it. But
it was early days. Yeah, I was I back then you couldn't. people couldn't stream on the channel without the password. I think now they could do it without the password.
Yeah, I
I
believe
think
you can add authorized people as well. That you
yeah.
can like give them a
So
stream key that you can revoke.
yeah, so that's something I'm kind of excited about. Probably just open a channel and see what who would even want to, uh, who would even want to stream on the channel, and if they have ideas, because it would be completely okay to plug your own channels, like use it as exposure, that type of thing. Whatever. I think it would also bring back more of a community feel to the channel itself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else here. It's easy to be critical and provide no solutions. So I would suggest some changes I would like to see. Make a new Twitch account. Okay, so this is something I read and considered. I don't think I'm going to be going this route. Be one of the reasons being I feel like it would be a waste of a really good channel. Um, the the hard drive channel would probably be very dead if nobody's using it, aside from only tournaments. So because tournaments are only happening aside from like we allow gestures tournaments and things like that, or anyone really, tournaments always take priority over the personal streams. There's never been a time where I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yep.
I'm gonna stream today. You can't stream that. I'm gonna stream today. It's always been tournament or community events first. um but yeah, I feel like not using the hard drop Twitch channel would be a waste of a good channel.
That's not really what I meant. So
Yeah.
the idea more of what I was going towards is like, um, okay, I don't want this to sound like a dig at you or anything, but like
Uh-huh.
the tournaments are the important things, right? Like these events that are going on, and
Mhm.
your personal stream is a bit less like an event, right? It's just sort of like a a thing that happens, right? It's not
Uh-huh.
really like this big event, right? So
Right.
yeah, so the idea is that like, well, if you're gonna turn personal streams and all these other like things into shows basically, right? Like events
Hmm.
that happen, like, oh, today we're gonna feature some streamers and like whatever, do interviews, do reviews or whatever stuff like that. That is more like a show, like a thing that is like important, rather than just sort of like oh, I'm just gonna play
um
some games today.
so would you say you're pretty on board with the idea of having the segments and getting other people streaming on the channel?
Yeah, I think like giving other people an opportunity, but like also there I don't want to sound rude or anything, but like you have to also, keep like a minimum standard of quality as well, right? So you should
Oh,
probably like
yeah.
maybe not you specifically, but get like a team of people and work together and set up some practice streams and stuff like that, so that everything runs smoothly without being like
I
a
agree with
like a
that
huge
for sure. It can't just
mess.
be like, yeah, we definitely need, if people are planning to submit some type of show or segment, it would need to be vetted and
Yeah,
just
with
be
like some sort of
can
tryouts or something like that, right?
tryouts, or we can see how it goes on their channel first, that type of thing.
Hmm.
Make a new YouTube channel for high quality edited YouTube videos. Hire an editor or get a volunteer. So I did read this. I thought it was a good idea. Honestly, I'm probably going to do this. Probably going to. I don't want to commit to anything yet, but I just think it's a good idea to create a new channel just for hard drop content,
Hmm.
like event stuff. Um, Probably upload my own personal. Well, actually, if it is like a founder segment now, it would count as hard drop like regular hard drop community content.
As long as it's something like high quality, high effort stuff, not just
Mhm.
like a like 3 hour unedited VOD, right? Like something that that is
Right.
like scripted or edited or
Mhm.
something like that, right?
So about the editing, and I know you mentioned here hire an editor. I
Mm-hmm.
personally I don't have any editing skills.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching Garbo stream a couple days ago, and he was saying how sometimes there's a challenge where trying to find an editor, you need to find an editor who also knows Tetris. Otherwise, they don't know what the heck is good, what the heck they're editing, what, yeah, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It might be easier for hard drive community events, because it's a tournament. It's a tournament. You have this person versus this person, so the editing might not be as important of finding in the like specific little plays and things like that to highlight on. But
Yeah.
um, in terms of like I didn't do any research yet on how much that would cost for a video editor. That's one of my concerns, the cost, and if like I don't know if you know anyone within the community itself who has video editing skills, but I would much rather keep the money within the community. Like even with the Twitch channel itself, like a lot of the money from the subs and stuff like that, almost all of it goes back into like tournaments or that type of stuff for the community. Um,
I
but
I
yeah.
think there are some people in the community who have some sort of editing skills, but like as for like monetary incentives, like I think the way most people, like most YouTubers who are not primarily editors, they usually just give all the revenue from the channel to the editor because the
Mm,
ad revenue is not that much, and then the bulk part of the money comes from like sponsorships and stuff like that. So you know, and
so
people can skip those, like skip in the
mhm,
video, right, if they don't care to
right.
watch them.
So you're talking about the YouTube revenue, the YouTube revenue,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. YouTube ad revenue from the videos that they
Oh.
produce, basically, right?
Like I'll be straight up to this point. It's never been about the money. Like the YouTube channel, like my personal YouTube channel, that's not even monetized. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people realize that it's not even monetized. But I would not mind if monetizing the channel meant that we have an editor to work on content. Like
Yeah,
hmm.
yeah. I think
Like I
that
don't mind giving it because I'm not getting any money from YouTube anyway. So if if that would encourage someone to start doing video editing for HardDrop, yeah, that might. Well, wait, did you actually list any names? I don't remember if you did. If you
no,
knew anyone within the community.
I think I've seen some people, but I don't know them like personally. So that would be, you could even just like do, like a competition or like some sort of like, like open applications and announce it like, hey guys, here's
Mhm.
some clips, edit them together, and then you might have a chance to be an official editor that gets paid, something like that, right?
All right, let me note some of this down. Like, like I mentioned before, I'm not really committing to anything yet, but I'm definitely considering
Mm-hmm.
these options that you're bringing up. Just about the editor getting paid the YouTube monetization. All right. Discord suggestions see below. So that was the like the Twitch YouTube part of it. I don't know if you have additional questions or things you want to bring up right now for that section of the.
Not really. I think we both sort of agree generally as to what needs to be done. So like, more community stuff, less just like long form unedited, like I guess low effort sort of content, more high
Uh,
effort sort of content.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll definitely improve the quality of stream. I'm kind of excited about the like people segment things,
Mm-hmm.
especially since we already have a couple people ready to do some stuff. So, yeah, I might even start up a channel later today if people want to submit ideas of what they want. Like, there's not a lot I can offer, but you would be able to stream on the Hard Drop channel, and you would be able to plug your stream there. I mean, a lot of us, as you already know, a lot of us are volunteers. Like we're not getting paid for this really, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just you could get your name out there, I guess. Let's see here. Hard Drop is a safe space. So this one is with the Discord. While it may seem good to be inclusive and provide a safe space for people to hang out or whatnot, HardDrop is supposed to be a Tetris community. The problem with safe spaces is that they become echo chambers where nobody can be criticized or held accountable for what they do or say unless it might hurt someone's feelings. So about this one, I think this is the one of the ones where I would like some more clarification on. The reason being, there is no rule against criticism. There's people who do get criticized on hard drop. There's no rule against it. I as long as it's done, so it's not like a you you dumbass Papega. It's more like a constructive criticism or like in a respectful way. It would be acceptable, but it's not just some attack on someone else. That would not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So I what I don't understand is like why would it so about the offering a safe space, I'll say straight up, I do try to gear the community towards that way of providing a safe space in terms of people can come and sort of feel comfortable in this environment and not feel like they can't be themselves. It's a community for Tetris fans. Like no matter what version, is one of the reasons I even created Hard Drop was because of the the problems I was experiencing with Tetris concept where it didn't feel okay to be a guideline player. It didn't feel good to be a multiplayer player without being like, hey, you should play this instead. You should do this instead. So I definitely wanted it to that inclusive feel where it doesn't really matter what you play. It's okay to be here and hang out. So that was one of the I guess the core things I wanted Hard Drop to be is sort of accepting of no matter who came.
Okay, yeah. So one thing I guess I didn't mention this in the FAQ is sort of just the general structure of the Discord is not something I really agree with.
Okay.
I guess we could talk about that now. So
Okay.
just generally you have so HardDrop is a Tetris Discord, right? At heart, it's supposed to be like about Tetris, right? Is that something we agree on?
Yes, I would agree with that. I'd say that it's a community for Tetris fans.
Okay. So one thing that's kind of curious to me is as to why we have like a community tab and then a Tetris tab, right? Since Tetris is sort of the community, right? So shouldn't we like why is there a separation between Tetris and community? Sort of
Okay.
curious to me.
That's a valid question. I'd say that an important part of community is to be able to talk about other interests than only the game. You know, like you should be able to. That's why there's the lobby channel as the main channel. Is you should be able to talk with one another about anything really, like other games that you play, life, music, things like that. I think that's what for me, I feel like that's what would bring a community closer together with one another. It's not just you hop on and you can only talk about Tetris or Tetris related topics on this Discord. I know some people disagree with that. I know some people probably would not like people don't like that the amount of off topic, which I wouldn't say is off topic because it's the lobby channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I know other I know some people think that, oh, this is a Tetris community. Why are they not talking about Tetris from time to time? Um, I think for me, there's no that that shouldn't be a problem. I feel like that's what brings uh, members closer to one another is being able to connect, even other ways aside from the game that they're playing together.
Okay, so one question I have about this is why is there not a Tetris discussion channel? Is questions basically the designated channel for that, or we don't?
That's okay. So that's a good question. I feel like that's something that's actually been suggested several times, several times now. There's no specific Tetris channel where it's only Tetris discussion, right?
Or just like a Tetris general channel or lobby for the Tetris part.
Mm. I guess because right now the lobby channel sort of covers everything, including Tetris. But I guess I can see the I can see how adding possibly another general Tetris channel, like specifically for Tetris, would allow like the players who are looking only for Tetris discussion to have a place to go, which I guess they don't have right now because if they wanted to have a regular Tetris discussion, it would be in lobby right now. But sometimes
Sort
it's
of,
filled with
every
yeah.
yeah.
No, so I see. Yeah, I definitely see your point there. I do see your point. Let me go and note this down as another thing to consider is like just like a Tetris general discussion channel. Yeah, especially since this has been brought up several times now.
I think it's a common complaint that people see, like well, okay. Whether we want to make like a judgment about people like personally, that's a separate discussion. But just like they come into lobby and they see people just like talking about basically nothing, right? Just completely unrelated, and there's no channel to talk about Tetris, right? It's sort of like okay, well, lobby is everything, gaming is every game except Tetris, and then you have like questions. It's kind of
Yeah, no, yeah, and I definitely see it more and more lately now that like I've seen the shift over the years, let's say. So this I think our Discord server's been up for maybe 4 years now.
mhm.
I've seen the slow transition where it's gonna in the lobby it becomes less and less about Tetris. Where
And
it used
just
to be
random
yeah,
people
yeah, it's
just
just
talking about random stuff.
mhm. Which isn't the random people talking about random stuff. I don't see as an issue, but but I do see your point where now there's like no or very little Tetris discussion taking place because there's no place for it. And someone who, like you said, someone who joins the server, yeah, someone who joins the server takes a look at the lobby. They see there's like people talking about random things, and they're probably wondering where do I talk about the Tetris? Okay, let me. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. let's see here. I guess I'll continue going down the list.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the problem with safe spaces is that they become echo chambers where nobody can be criticized or held. So this is something that I would like more clarification on.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
what do you
sure.
mean by okay?
So this is more specifically related to the questions channel itself, because I mean, as we talked about, right? It doesn't really matter when you're talking outside of that channel, right? Because questions is sort of the hub for Tetris discussion right now, at least, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. At
So
least on HardDrop. Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things that happens quite often, I mean, this is a problem in every community, right? Is that people that think they know more than they actually know, right? They like to talk about things, right? And oftentimes, when you criticize them, they don't take it easily, and there's sort of like no punishment or no repercussion for just basically spreading bad information.
They okay. So okay, I do hear what you're saying. I thought the repercussion, or I thought that the counter to that is to correct them.
So okay, so here's the thing, right? You can correct them, that's fine, right? But the damage has already been done. So what we want to do in general is just to prevent the behavior in the first place, right? So yeah, it's good to try and reform or rehabilitate or whatever, reform these people, right? But you can't try and fix every crack after the crack happens. You want to try and avoid those cracks in the first place, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe having
what are your suggestions? Yeah, okay. It
yeah
sounds like you were about to say.
yeah. So this is sort of where like just generally actually the punishments don't have to be like, okay, you are banished from the community, right? Like never come back, right? The punishments can just be like, okay, you're just muted for like a week or something, or like even like a day, and then maybe the punishment scales or something, or just like a verbal warning, stuff like that, right? It's not about like okay, you messed up, you're gone, you're out of the community, right? So simple things like just having rules and standards at all, because like I mean we'll get to this later about the FAQ situation, but the just at the time of writing this, there was nothing, right? It was basically just a free for all in questions. People
Correct.
can say anything. There are no indications of skill at all. So I don't want to get into the like whole like, okay, well let's like like who like I don't want to blindly follow authority, right? So like someone with like a designated role to be a question answer, that guy might not actually know what he's talking about in some aspects still, right? So we shouldn't just like randomly assign people authority, but still the issue is that like people just can say whatever they want, and there's no rule against, hey, like actually think about what you're saying before you say it. And there's still a lot of spam of like people just like someone will ask a question and then like two people will respond with, oh, I don't know, like why would you respond if you don't know, right? Like,
You
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
know. I don't know stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, no, I'm wondering if the spam is still going on.
Oh, I mean, it happens all the time, right? Like, just someone will ask a question, and then someone will respond that they don't know the answer to the question, and it's like, oh, thanks for trying, I guess. But yeah,
Right. So for your suggested things to do about this, cause about this type of issue,
mhm.
what were you saying?
Okay, so yeah, so basically, so number one, the rules, right? So I mean, FAQ is kind of like that, but we can talk about that later. Um, so have some like standards, right, and rules, and then there also needs to be some consequences, right? So
You hear me typing? I'm I'm just
yeah, just okay, yeah. So
revisit this later.
so anyone who like gives bad answers or whatever, basically unhelpful, not contributing to any conversation, those people need to be reprimanded, whether it's like very minor, right? Like you lose your permission to talk in that channel or something. Just simple things like that. And also one thing that Discord doesn't have right now, which would be really nice, is role-based slow modes. So I'm a big fan of this idea where basically whatever, by default there's like a 1 minute slow mode, so just you have to actually think about what you type, right? Because you can't type for another minute, right? And then as someone becomes more reputable and is, they seem to be contributing a lot and, having valid information and stuff like that, they can get their slow mode reduced. But right now we can't do that. So sort of just like implementing a slow mode at all where people can't, just say a bunch of messages and not really think before they type might be a good option as well. It's like something like 30 seconds or 15 seconds, right?
Uh-huh. In terms of the determining quality of answers, who, how do you think that should be handled? Because that's who gets to say who answered well and who answered not well. And
So this is where things get kind of like, where you start to toe a line, right? So like, is there an authority on this? Like, who gets to decide who is right and wrong, right? So this is sort of
that's where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Who gets to decide who's right, who's wrong?
So here's the thing, right? Things in general, right? There are things that are facts, right? Obviously, not like, we are humans, we are flawed, right? Not like we are limited to our own perceptions, but the like there are things that, is generally agreed upon as facts, right? So like, for example, in Tetris Friends, a non back-to-back T-spin double sends 4 lines, right, of garbage. Like that is, a fact, right? Something that we can agree on, right?
Yeah.
So these sorts of things, like when you get a fact incorrect, I think that, is something that we should point out, and there is definitely an authority to say like, okay, well, this is like just literally like a fact that is not correct that you just said, right? So those sorts of things are definitely enforceable, right? So if someone says something like, I don't know, like whatever, the default or like the ARR in PPT is like 72 milliseconds. That is not correct. I'm pretty sure that's not correct. But, like things like that, right? Like when you say something that is wrong, you should, face some consequences. Obviously, we don't want to scare people into not even, trying to answer things, right? But like, you should be held accountable.
No, I agree with that. I agree you should be held accountable. But what I want to, there's also, people make mistakes, and myself included. I've made mistakes in that channel answering questions before. So there's gotta be, it's not like black or white. It's usually situational. Like this person's trying to help. No, they got it wrong this time, but they're usually right, type of thing. There's I guess if it's someone who's like blatantly giving out bad answers or incorrect, like answers that have like a factual true or false type of thing, then yeah, they should be reprimanded. But what about the person who every once in a while messes up?
I think that, it's the punishments should not be super severe, at least initially, right? So if you like mess up every once in a while, it's probably okay. But just generally, you should be aware that you should be held to a higher standard than just like, a person in lobby, right? Because the whole point of the questions channel is to get answers to your questions, right? And if there's like a whatever high % chance that you don't get a good answer, then what is the, why do we even have the channel in the first place, right? Why don't we just, why don't you just ask in lobby and some random person will just make up an answer for you, right? Like, I think that, yes, it's, it may seem harsh to, whatever, get timed out for 30 minutes or something, right? But like, as long as the punishments aren't super severe, I think you can, take the hit like, oh, I was wrong. Okay, well, won't do it again, right? Or I'll try and be better next time, right? I'll check my facts before I say them, stuff like that.
I do think that that's now that we have like, I know we're gonna touch on this later, but the FAQ channel that's currently there, now that we have that, we at least have some sort of guidelines to enforce if people violate those. Like before, we, like you mentioned, we didn't have anything before. So what are you warning me for? What are you warning me for? There's no rules on this.
Exactly. Yes. Well, like
now there's rules.
Literally rules with like, okay, strike 1, this is your whatever. Then strike 2, blah blah blah. Like just like just say it out. Like say it outright.
Yeah. Strike. This is your first strike. You just violated this from FAQ. That type of thing.
Yeah. Something like that.
I mean, I feel like we still need to iron out and write or fix up the rules that are currently in FAQ. But I think we're starting to head that direction. I don't know if you're seeing people who are not being warned right now.
I mean, at this point, I don't really. I
Oh,
don't really check HardDrop that often anymore because of,
uh,
my issues with it. I think
uh,
that it's honestly bad for my mental health to look at it. So
no
that's
worries.
I
No
sort
worries.
of avoid it at this point. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, in the
Yeah.
past, it's definitely been a major issue, and you know.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, so I guess we can move on from this.
Okay. Let's see. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Oh, actually, in the bad advice section, there is also a bit about the wiki as well. Um, I
Oh,
just
let's
want to
see here. Okay, okay. Yeah, let's
yeah.
see here. In general, there are not many good Tetris resources. In other games, you have tons of resources, like in League of Legends, there's Summoner School. Tetris is quite the outlier in this regard. Other than 4.lol, there are not really any great places to learn Tetris. The biggest Tetris resource is HardDrop. It has a large wiki with decades of info and the HardDrop Discord with lots of members. The real issue with those resources is that they are not good sources of information. The person who runs both does not care about quality. A popular argument is that HardDrop Wiki is supposed to be a wiki, a library of information, so whether something is good or bad is out of the question. While this does seem to make sense, it actually contradicts Blink's attitude. A couple months ago, username Garbo posted a meme setup DT plus. Blink banned Garbo from the wiki because he had bad intentions since he knowingly posted a bad setup. If HardDrop is a library for all setups, good or bad, why does it matter that the setup was bad? There are plenty of bad setups on the wiki, setups even worse than DT plus on the wiki. So clearly, either all setups should be allowed to be documented there, or there should be some specific rules on what the wiki should be. So I will agree that the idea behind HardDrop it's just like a library of knowledge, right? Anyone can post on there. Anyone can create new content for the wiki. Um, the reason Garbo was banned was it had like the idea is yeah anyone can contribute to the wiki, but there are rules in place where you can't intentionally troll on the wiki. You
But
can't intentionally try to create content that's trying like it was basically I that was a decision of that was a decision based on intent. Yes, I've always mentioned I've always said that it was the ban on Garbo was done on his bad intentions. I
mhm.
will say that perhaps I should have gave him a warning first. Like, hey, why are you doing this type of thing? Like,
Okay.
you need to stop what you're doing. Maybe the ban was a little bit too quick, uh, but definitely I felt like it should not have been left alone. It's
But
something that had to. Yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
so you say it's because of intentions, right? But what if
Mm.
but you can't just make like, this is sort of like who gets to decide what info is right or wrong, right? Like, yeah, how can you tell? I mean, okay, maybe Garbo's case is a bit obvious, right? Because
Mm.
he was streaming himself making that or whatever, right? But
Mm.
how can you make that judgment on whether someone is purposefully, trying to make bad setups or mislead people, or they don't know any better?
So okay, so I'll agree. That's a difficult judgment to make without yeah, it's because without knowing everything, right? But in this case, it was a easy judgment to make because he was saying what he was doing. So that's why the ban was made was he was straight up saying what he was doing on his
Okay,
stream.
and another thing is, do you even consider this griefing? Because from what the wiki looks like to an outsider, this DT plus is a perfectly reasonable page. Honestly, like it looks in place compared to everything else on the wiki as well. So would you even consider that to be griefing in the first place, even if maybe he was
Uh,
doing it cheekily or whatever, right?
so I do see where you're getting at with the yeah on the wiki there is a problem of there is no way to tell right now which setups are good, which setups are bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're getting at. So I feel like that's the problem here. The problem on the wiki is there's no way to tell. There's no different. Yeah, no way to differentiate which setups are good, which setups are bad because they're sort of treated the same way. There's no disclaimer. There's no. So I'm wondering what type of things we could do on the wiki. Like I know that I sent a survey out maybe like 2 3 years ago, something long, crazy long time ago, to see what we should do about the wiki reform, like some type
Mm-hmm.
of adding a voting system or something like that. But I couldn't find what I needed to implement that. Like I couldn't figure it out. I might need to pull in help on this. That's something I'm still working on is being able to ask for help and being able to get help on this.
For
and
sure.
think community related because I'm only one person. But this yeah, I'm open to listening to what you think would improve the wiki then
Okay,
in that
so
regard.
the first thing we have to do is we have to pick a side, right? So do you want it to be everything or just good things, right?
Okay, so I want it to be okay. So I get what you're saying, and honestly, so 4.lol, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
4.lol gets brought up a lot. It is great. It is a great resource. It's a great guide, right? It's a great guide
Mm-hmm.
for Tetris. The wiki is not
It's
a straight
not.
up guide.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Uh huh.
does that make sense? It's not like it's not curated by two, three, four people who make all the judgments and they determine between each other. Like, this is good, this is not good, this is yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
For sure.
so this is more like the wiki is more of like an open thing. It's open for um yeah, people of the from the community to contribute to it, and so I don't think it's right to treat the wiki as a guide. I don't think it's a guide. It's
Okay.
it has guides. It has guides on it. There's guides on the wiki, but the wiki itself in its entirety is not a guide. It's more of it's like the library of knowledge about Tetris. But I do agree that there needs to be a way to differentiate like what things are completely useless, what things are not. And so yeah, so regarding that, I think that answers your question earlier about do you want this to be only the good things or
Or just
more of
everything. Yeah.
knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say steer this towards more of everything because we have those resources of only just the good things.
I mean, it can be both, right? But there needs to be a clear separation, and right now there is no separation between like
Oh,
what is like what is good and what is just everything like alt info that exists, right?
okay. So are you saying currently? So currently, would you agree? It's currently like it currently is a library knowledge, but it's missing that separation.
Yeah, yeah. Right now,
Okay.
it's well. The thing is, it's okay. If you look at every page individually, you can sort of it's a mix of both, right? Some pages have extremely detailed descriptions. I mean, there's like random pages like Anonymous's downstacking guide, which is which is quite literally a guide, right, on how to
Mm-hmm.
downstack for
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? So the thing is like and people don't treat it like a resource of information, right? They treat it as like, okay, I want to learn how to play Tetris. I'm just going to go on HardDrop wiki, I'm going to like hit random page and I'm going to learn that setup. And that
Mm-hmm.
is probably one of the most harmful things a new player can do to themselves.
Mm. Because there is because they might stumble upon the pages that are
Mm-hmm.
not yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest in yeah,
Well,
I'm open to hearing some suggestions on
so
how
number
to
one,
tackle this.
it needs to be clear. If HardDrop Wiki is supposed to be just a random assortment of information, it needs to. I think all maybe there needs to be like a little banner or something that says like, oh, this is just a collection of all setups, right?
Mm,
Don't take everything. Think for yourself as to whether the setup is good, and then maybe there could be like a curated list of like, hey, these are like important setups for beginners to learn, right? Or like these are like useful things for people to learn, right?
mm, okay.
But
Yeah, so
even
I've
following,
seen
oh,
I've even seen other resources where they have some type of disclaimer banner like this is like it's up to you to determine which of these are good or not.
mhm. And
You were
like
about to say something.
yeah, sorry. So back to the DT plus thing. Like the problem that I have with Garbo's ban around that
Mm,
setup is that it's an actually like it's a legitimate setup, and there is a setup on HardDrop Wiki that is similar. It's called like Deuce Flame Cannon or something, where it's a T-spin mini into DT Cannon. Where these are basically that one is actually worse than the one that Garbo made.
uh-huh.
Yet like I think like yes, maybe he was trying to troll a little, but the setup itself is actually like a legit thing that you could actually use in game. It's less like troll than Godspin, right?
Mm. I mean I mean the good one of the good things about the wiki is anything can be undone type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that page can get restored.
Mm-hmm.
Um, trying to think, but about the ban on Garbo since we're going back on that the ban on Garbo, uh, a lot there's a like a there's a human aspect when it comes to moderation and banning and things like that. There's not everyone is exactly equal in that regard. I know it may seem that way, but or it's supposed to seem that way, but you have to think about their past actions and what the I closely look at intent. It's important to me, but there's the human aspect because you need to determine like is this person accident like was this an accident like did they have were they trying to contribute a good article? It's just that they're not knowledgeable enough, and that's like do you treat that person the same as the person who knows something is a something is a like a harmful article and they contribute it anyways on purpose
Hmm.
type of thing.
Okay,
Like I
actually,
can't treat those two the same.
personally, actually, I
Mm,
think that you
mm,
should treat these two people the same because someone who is writing, bad articles might need to take a step back and try and understand what they don't understand. So I'm not saying you should treat both of them poorly. I'm saying you should treat both of them well, right? So someone who is, if okay, so if Garbo okay, so let's say we're in a world, right, where HardDrop Wiki is about good setups, right, and not just any setup. So if Garbo
okay.
keeps posting these bad setups, the first one, okay, don't do that. The second one, okay, like this is your second offense, like this is your final warning, right? And then the third one, he's banned, right? That seems
Mm,
like something reasonable. And if
okay.
a random like beginner person posts a setup, hey, that's bad, like try and
Mm,
like you obviously you're like missing some fundamental understanding about some basic concepts or something like that,
mm,
right? So like both of them you should try and educate, right? And if one of them does
right.
not comply, then you actually enact some sort of punishment or decision, right? It shouldn't be that you treat them differently. You should treat them both the
Mm,
same, and the treatment should be good for both of them, right?
mm. No, you make a good point. You make a good point
So
right there.
and
I don't really have a counter to that.
and
I may
it's
have.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's also a slippery slope, right? You can't like okay, for the Garbo incident, it's pretty clear that he was trolling, he was streaming himself doing it, but like the okay, well, part of it was that he was trying to prove a point, and the other part of it is just like you can't like with Garbo, it might have been obvious, but there are some people that you just cannot make that judgment call on because you just don't know them, right? Like you probably
Right.
know Garbo more than most people, like most random like people of HardDrop because
Okay.
Garbo streams himself, right? So people will know him more than just some random guy contributing on the wiki, right? So
Right.
yes, like for Garbo, it might be easier for you to make a decision that you
Mm,
feel is fully, informed, right? But for some random person, you can't make that decision. So I think it's
mm.
unfair to Garbo and everyone else. Just because Garbo streams doesn't mean that you get to, like
I
think you
will.
know more about him than maybe you
I will.
actually know, right?
I will say if it was a random person, they wouldn't have gotten banned immediately. And I will say I may have jumped the gun on banning Garbo so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's yeah that's I never claimed to be like a perfect administrator or anything like that. People make mistakes. I may have banned him too early on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think what should have been done is probably reach out to him and ask him why he did that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I feel like if Garbo is looking to prove a point, my DMs are always open. Like I'm easy to like I'm here talking to you. You're one of my like biggest critics. Like I am easy to reach. Over the past maybe 2 3 years, I haven't gotten a single PM from anyone regarding like these type of like improvement things. Like I'm yeah. So it's I
Maybe it just feels like you are always watching because it's it's sort of your server. But I mean, I think these issues have actually been brought up a fair bit in the questions channel specifically. So it sort of feels like we're not listened to. Maybe yeah, but it's probably on our fault for not directly reaching out to you. But I these issues have been discussed publicly in the questions channel pretty often actually. So
I would yeah I'd like yeah anytime issues come up, feel free to reach out. That's just what I want to say too, and the chat watching too. Like if you guys have issues or things you want to talk about, my DMs are like always open. Just reach out to me. Like I might not respond right away because I'm pretty busy, but I will. And if for some reason I don't respond, just ping me again. I probably didn't see it. But yeah, I'm open to talking about these things.
okay, so that's basically everything about the wiki. So yeah, just like to summarize, like pick one or the other or both, but just it has to be clear, right?
Yeah, so I did get your suggestions of possibly a disclaimer letting the viewer know,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is like a collection of all setups. So we haven't vetted which ones are good, which ones are bad. It's going to be up to you to make that decision or do some research yourself type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen educational resources mention the same type of things on their wikis. So I don't think that'll be an issue. Uh, Aside from that, let me see here. The curated list, um, yeah, that would also have to be decided by people. So it would also like who gets to decide type of thing. What is on that curated list of
I mean,
good.
the great thing
Good.
about like the wiki format is that it's supposed to be a community thing, right? So, one person could, start up a draft and then people can have, a dialogue about it, right? Like, okay, you put like, DT Cannon at the top of the list. Well, actually, I think DT Cannon is bad for these reasons, right? Or whatever is bad. Like, obviously, it shouldn't be like a popularity contest, but it should be something that, we can have a constructive conversation about, right?
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that is the wiki and questions channel portion. Do you have any more questions about this part before moving on?
Well, then the next part is also questions channel, but yeah, we
Oh,
can
is it? Take
continue.
everything with grain of salt. Okay, let's
Hmm.
see here. Well, it's good to not take everything you read as 100% truth. It is also not an excuse to spread misinformation. This, frankly, is a disgusting attitude to have, especially in the Tetris community. Resources are so sparse it is that it is hard for a beginner player to know what is right or wrong. As someone who chooses to answer a question, you have the responsibility to provide correct information. Who do you blame when test scores are low? The students or the teachers? The attitude is such a regressive mindset, it makes me sick to even think about. Okay, so this is regarding the questions channel of incorrect answers, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
This is incorrect answers in the questions channel, which we mentioned earlier on this stream is going to be handled first. Well, for the idea was like to correct it, but also now that we have rules in place, or we're going to tailor like edit those rules further. But now that we have rules in place, warnings will be issued out so that they're reprimanded.
Yeah, I think just the main point here is that as someone who chooses to answer a question, you have some responsibility, right? There's some implied trust, right? Inherent trust, because, if you're asking the question, you probably don't know the answer, right? So how can someone who doesn't know anything make some decision like, oh, this guy told me an answer that seems pretty reasonable. I'm just gonna like, oh, I'm not gonna trust it because I have to take everything with a grain of salt, right? That seems kind of unfair to the person asking, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not to discourage people from answering questions, right? But it's
Don't
it's
answer if you don't know,
yeah,
basically. Don't.
exactly, right? Like the whole point is that you have some responsibility. Some people just like to talk, right? And I think,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with liking to talk. There's nothing wrong with liking to send messages, but there are places where you can send messages and there are places
Mhm.
where, you shouldn't send messages, right?
I agree with that. I think that that's what a rule set would help with is that yeah, if you're not sure of the answer, don't answer type of thing. And then once they get if we notice someone that is consistently giving out maybe 2 3 wrong answers, then we're like, hey, this is your warning, don't do that anymore, make sure that you know the answer. But this is something that does seem like it could be at least like partially solved by having a solid rule set that's actually enforced.
I mean, the point here isn't to be like, oh, you are wrong about something. It's more like you. Well, okay. So like for example, if I say a fact that is incorrect, like okay, like whatever, PPT's AR is 72,
Mhm.
that is
Mhm.
wrong, right? But if I bring up bring up something that leads to some discussion, something that's not so simple, right? Like oh, like you should stack 9-0 or 09, right? Like that is something that is not inherently wrong. Well, actually, I mean, if you want to talk about facts, then yeah, it technically is inherently wrong. But like, you don't want to just like if it leads to some good discussion that's not like blatantly blatantly factually incorrect, then I think it's fine. That's something that doesn't need to be reprimanded. But someone who just like says random things to try and create a discussion should not be should be punished for it.
And I agree with that. Someone should be punished if they're trying to do this consistently, and you could sort of tell who is and who is actually trying to answer questions. There's times people get it wrong, and people correct them like respectfully, and usually there's a little discussion that comes about that as well. And I that's what I don't want to disappear. I like it should be okay um, to have those discussions, and maybe there's not a clear cut answer, but we guys can figure it out together in the question channel.
So, okay, so I guess this will get into the FAQ because the FAQ is basically what you are describing, except there is no discussion needed because a lot of things that aren't like directly facts can basically be derived from facts, right? So, like, let's say we know okay, I don't want to get like too much into math, right? But like, there are axioms you have in math, right? And then to do a proof, you can combine these in a certain way that lets you basically derive more formulas and stuff, right? So if someone gives you a formula, you can take these, fundamental facts, right, axioms,
Mm.
and then get that formula, right? And if there's a contradiction, then it's wrong, right?
Right.
So that's sort of the FAQ. So not everything that is derived is necessarily obvious. I mean, some of the things are, right? And so the things that are obvious are basically what I'm trying to curate into the FAQ. So
I see.
like it's like trig identities, right? Like you just memorize them, but there's ways to prove them, but you don't need to prove them every single time. They're just sort of like they basically just become facts, right?
So for the FAQ, you're only including the ones that are like proven facts.
Um,
Is that what you're saying?
so it depends because most of it, like I'm basically the only person that writes it, right?
Mhm.
So some of the stuff is not just facts or it's not complete, but most of the stuff is just like this is the answer and here's why this is the answer, and this is how I got here, right? But I think like common discussions like that also are not that constructive because like yes, it's
Because
good to inform someone that they were wrong and this is why they're wrong, but like these things are so common that it happens basically constantly, and then you just end up in a loop where like the like the skill floor is so low, I guess you could say. Like the common understanding is not very high, so it's sort of it just doesn't lead it to any good discussion when all the discussion is about basic things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do think it's pretty much updating the frequently asked questions and the guidelines for posting and answering questions would help with this as long as it's enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what, I mean, did you have other suggestions for this part?
Um. Well, okay, yeah. So enforcing is good, and also, yeah, just basically, I mean, Discord is Discord, right? But there
Mm.
are ways to make it, better. I honestly think forums were good, and forums are a good place for this, like Stack Overflow, right? Like, people that post to Stack Overflow often complain like, oh, the mods are so mean, they like deleted my post or whatever, right? But like
Right.
if you've used Stack Overflow, which most people have, you realize like, hey, I never need to actually make a post, right? Like the majority of the time I've been using Stack Overflow for a long time, right? And I've never needed to make a post, right? Because it's well organized. The answers are concise for the most part. I mean, obviously some things slip through the cracks, right? But like everything is so like well done there, right? So
Mm.
honestly, like even opening like a Stack Exchange version for Tetris might not be a bad idea. I think that is the true solution because Discord is just like, there are ways to fix things, but it might not be the best medium to have it in the first place.
It might not be the best medium, but it's a very convenient medium. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, okay, I'll definitely put some of these into consideration. I think of what I was gonna say.
And just as to talk about the FAQ a bit, like the one that
Yeah.
you made.
Mhm. I need to give that. I actually didn't make that FAQ. The majority of that was done by Jimothy,
Oh, I
and
see, I see.
I did modify parts of it, but he volunteered to help with that. And then yeah, create. So about the FAQ channel and stuff like that. So I wanted to clear up some confusion. I think that I've heard some people saying things about what was going on, just saying like, oh, I posted it and then banned you or something like that. Just want to like clear that out because none of that is true. So what happened was on that day that I guess you released the FAQ, Etho said he wanted to pin it, or he told me to pin it onto
Mm-hmm.
the questions channel. So I did that. I'm like, I looked at the FAQ first. I'm like, okay, this is useful information. Let's go ahead and pin it. So we pinned it into the channel, and then Fizzle said, hey, no, this deserves its own channel. So I created the FAQ channel. I was like, okay, this will give it even more visibility. Like maybe people will view this before asking stuff and questions. So created the FAQ channel, posted it there, and pinned it there, and didn't allow anyone to chat there. So and then later, Ito messages me again, and he's like, oh, WinterNeps does not want HardDrop using this FAQ. So then I took it down. So I took it down, but at that point already, there's discussion going on in the question channel where it was like, yeah, we need a FAQ. FAQ sounds like a good idea in helping reduce the amount of useless questions or repeated questions. It is frequently asked questions. So to reduce the repeated questions. Plus, we need something like um like etiquette or guidelines for posting and so even though you didn't want HardDrop to use it, I saw the purpose of it and the importance to have it, and that's why the FAQ channel was still up. But I wanted to clear up the confusion because and about the ban thing, I think that was Egu. Egu muted you. Uh, I guess he believed
Information was harmful.
no. This is not. I don't think this is related to FAQ at all. I think there was something going on between you and Anna or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Then,
she said something like completely ridiculous, and I called her out, and then she left the server. So
okay, but yeah, I just wanted to clear up because I've had people reach out to me in DMs actually. Someone PM me. They're like, "Why'd you ban WinterNeps and why did you steal his FAQ?" Because I just want to say this. It's if I did something like that, I would be like I mean, if someone did that to me, I'd be pissed too. So I understand, but that's not something I did. Like it's not even true.
mm-hmm. Anyway, so so there's a little part about there as to why I asked you to. Well, I asked Etho to ask you to remove it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's in here. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. So the part there is that specifically, like, yes, an FAQ will solve some of the issues, but that is not enough to actually fix what the issue with HardDrop is right now. And I mean, we talked about it, right? It's not specifically that people are asking, repeated questions. It's that people are saying incorrect information, and there is no repercussions for people just, being wrong about everything, right?
Okay. And I do agree. There's no one thing will fix everything, especially in something like this. There's not a. I feel like it's gonna be a combined of multiple things together to not even fix it. It'll just make the situation better and improve the quality of the questions channel. But yeah, I agree with you that an FAQ is not gonna solve everything. Like if that's what the point you're trying to make.
Well, the point I was trying to make is basically what is sort of happening right now is where, like the FAQ is created, but it doesn't really do anything necessarily. I think just in general, the questions channel has like been less active since, years before, right? Because I joined the community like, 2-ish years ago by now. And like, it was, there's way more people talking in it, right? But now it's sort of died down, so I think it's sort of hard to see the issue, but they still pop up occasionally.
I will say partially could be because you have to actually read it in order to chat in there now. So it could be like the amount of new members who just join and usually ask a question and leave or something like that, or join and ask like a repeated question, a frequently asked question. That's reduced down because they actually have to make some effort and click on things in order to even get access to that channel now. So that might be a part of the reduced amount of like frequently asked questions there.
Well, there isn't like a actual FAQ, right? It's just how to ask questions right now. So
it's just etiquette right now. The FAQ is yeah. There's a lot of things that I may need to get additional help on. I've always I think I mentioned earlier on the stream. It's I'm not the type of person who is comfortable reaching out for help. Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden, like burdening someone. But there's something that I'm working on, and especially after with HDO, like HDO, I actually asked for a lot of help on that one, and people are what I've noticed is there's still passionate people in the community. There's still people who are open to helping improve the scene. So I think I definitely need to make more use of my resources now that I'm getting older and less hours in the day to focus on this. Yeah, I think that um, some people think that I don't care about the community, and that's 100% not true. Like I wish there's so many things I want to do for the community. It's just that I don't have as much time as I used to before, and so that's why I think I need to lean towards uh, lean towards getting more help from other people.
Yeah, for sure. I think finding some other people to help run the community as well would be a good option. I think some of like from what I've heard from the mods is that they don't really have any power to do anything in the community. They just right click people's messages and delete them, and that's about it.
Mods have almost all permission except for channel. So that mods can ban, they can kick, I mean they have all permissions except for channel basically is what's granted to them. And the only reason I didn't grant the channel access is just in case. I know I just have a worry of like just in case someone accidentally deletes a channel,
Mm-hmm.
it's gone for good. But aside from that, they have, as far as I know, they have everything else. They have all other admin access.
Anyways, but yeah, the I guess the idea is that like just finding like even people in your mod team or other people like just trying to get other people to help with running the community as well, because obviously running a community with like thousands of people is not it's not a one person job, right? It's
Yeah,
it takes a lot of work. So just getting more people in general to help with this, I think would improve it a lot.
okay. That's actually been suggested to me because I was talking over about this um just community discussions and like where to take the community and things, which I believe I believe I'm supposed to talk to Garbo about some like we're supposed to have like a one-on-one in the future too about it,
Mm-hmm.
about the community discussion. But yeah, just having a trusted like group of maybe 8 to 10 people, something like that, with
I mean, it doesn't even need to be like a specific number, as long as like you're not trying to hit a quota, right? It just like as long as people are good, right?
mhm.
But yeah, I think as long as things get done and things change and don't just stay the same, that was my main concern with the FAQ and not having it posted in HardDrop, was because oftentimes just things don't change and there's no point like with a half fix, right?
Mhm.
So either like things change completely or basically things stay the same.
I will say, after this discussion, there's definitely going to be some things that are different. Like some
Mm-hmm.
things will be different, and that's why I really do encourage like just reach out and talk to me. I'm super easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Not just you, but anyone watching the stream right now as well.
Yeah, anyways, I know like a lot of people, and I mean probably most of the people in the chat that are friends with me and stuff,
Mhm.
we sort of like that hard drop is where most Tetris players get their start in a community, right?
Mhm.
Because it just
Mhm.
it's basically the only community other than like classic, I guess. So it's but most of us have sort of become disillusioned, I guess, with it,
Mhm.
and fallen out of touch with it, I guess. It's just one of those things where like that's where everyone gets started, but
Mhm.
now a lot of people move away from it. Like I know a lot of the regulars that used
Mhm.
to go in hard drop don't talk anymore, and it's it's new people, right? Obviously the same people can't always be there, right? But I've
Right.
noticed that it's sort of like they just don't find it as good as it used to be, basically. Whether that's
I
like nostalgia or whatever, that's you can talk about that, but still.
right. I did believe that a part of that is there's way more Discord servers now than there was before that are also Tetris related. Lots of streamers started popping up and posting their own, and so there's that cozier feeling, right? There's that cozier feeling within those smaller servers where you bring along your friends and you guys can talk more personal and more about certain topics between people that you know. I think that also plays a part of it. Whereas Hard Drop is more like you said, it's like the first server that people go to. It's the one that gets them into Tetris and start learning more about the scene and then start figuring out where they want to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, um, I do see it and I've seen it happen because Hard Drop's been 11 years now with Hard Drop. It I would say it's a pretty normal thing where people start on a community and then they start making their friends within that community and then they start hanging out with those friends in that community.
Yeah, I think that's fine, but as long as you know these changes go through and there are things that improve, I think that you know just the experience in general will be better, right? Because it's just one of those things where like you know HardDrop is basically the biggest, right? And you know it shouldn't be the biggest just because it is the biggest, right? It should be the
Mhm.
biggest because it's also you know one of the best, right? So I think you know just bringing the bar up more and you know improving things that need to be improved. That's definitely the step in the right direction.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I appreciate the discussion because I do think that some of the ideas from this discussion will it can only help. It can only help improve the quality of the server and the quality of the community. So there are things that are going to happen. Nothing that I'll commit to right now, but there are things that are gonna change.
Okay, as long as things change,
Mm.
that's all that I'm basically here
Yeah.
for, right? Things
Okay.
get
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. It'll be a step in the right direction at least. It might not be depending on how busy I am. It might not be as fast or as as some people would like, but there's gonna be some changes made.
Yeah, I'm sure like you could probably get some help from some of your mods as well. I'm sure they would
Hmm.
be willing to assist you with that.
For sure.
Okay, yeah, that's basically it, I think.
Hmm.
I guess maybe if chat has anything they
Yeah, I'm
want
open
to
to
talk about,
taking
but yeah, other
questions
than
from
that,
chat. If I have some.
okay, it doesn't look like anyone has really anything to add, so I guess we'll just call it here.
Well, I could we
Unless you
let's
have
not
something you want.
yeah, let's not ignore Fizzle. He's saying I think HD used to be a lot better like 2 years ago. I'm listening, Fizzle. I'm listening. So I'm open to hearing what you have to say.
One of the concerns that a lot of people, well, I guess not, it's not really a concern, but something I've heard a lot as well is that like people like to say that HardDrop, you know, used to be good like a year or two ago, but it was they think it's always been the same quality. It's just they didn't know any better, and
Mm.
you know, I think like maybe it's just that everyone maybe it was just because it was less active, and so that you know right now the issue I have with it is it feels extremely diluted, right? Like you look in lobby and it's just you know people like saying random stuff.
No, that I see. I've seen like a shift towards less and less Tetris talk in the lobby. So that I wouldn't say it's just you. Like I noticed that too. And
So like
uh,
yeah, I think definitely a Tetris lobby channel would be a step in the right direction.
mm, yeah, okay, that might even at least help a little bit with what Fizzle's saying, where Fizzle feels like it's not really a Tetris community anymore,
Hmm.
and that but I'm sure that partially played to it is that in lobby you don't really see as much Tetris discussion as there used to be.
Okay, so Garba says one of the things Baseball Boy said was HardDrop was never structurally good for improvement, but it has been good for it at times. So I think I agree with that mostly. It's just sort of you know there really isn't any structure to HardDrop in general. It's just sort of you know there's well okay well there's lots of parts of HardDrop, right? There was the forums that are now archived. There's the wiki, and then there's the Discord as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like no one talks about matchmaking in HardDrop anymore. It's basically completely dead. I guess Matchmaking Central has basically replaced it. Um, and it's just sort of like people don't care about getting better anymore. I guess it's just people want somewhere to hang out and not
Mm-hmm.
actually it's sort of the community issue where people want to be part of the community but they don't want to be a part of the community, if that makes sense, right? They just want to join but not actually be a part. Like they okay, sorry.
They join and um they lurk, but the only thing that they seem to participate in is like tournaments.
Well, no, not even that. It's just people join because of Tetris, but they're not here for Tetris. They're just here to talk to random people. Like
Oh, that's
it's
what.
yeah, it's more about just like people. Yeah, the people just want you know to talk and to have their voice heard, and it's not specifically about you know Tetris or you know like a lot of people don't even play Tetris at all, right? Like I think that's sort of unfortunate aspect of what HardDrop has become more
But
now.
that being said, I will say that some of them, even though they don't play it themselves, they enjoy watching it. for example, they came to the channel from watching a tournament or watching on Twitch, like a good player. So they found HardDrop that way. And even though they don't play it, they are a viewer. If that makes sense. That's the I think those are also important people to have in the community.
Um. Okay, yeah, sorry. One second. I had to mute OBS because my alerts were super loud. Never mind. It's still playing. What the? How do I mute this? I muted OBS and.
There's the stream alerts.
Yeah, I just want to mute it though. I just need to mute OBS, which is okay. I think it's good now. Yeah. So it's not even the people that just want to watch. It's just people that don't even like. They don't care about Tetris. They just joined the server because it was Tetris and they heard about Tetris and now they're just here to talk. Like I'm not gonna call anyone out specifically, but I think generally a lot of the people in lobby, well, not a lot, but there are a sizable amount of people in lobby that just like to come in and, you know, talk about stuff, but they have no interest in Tetris at all. Basically, they're just in the server. You know what I mean? So I think that's fine. You know. Yeah, we like it's not like we should ban those people. It's just like right now those people are sort of diluting the discussion, right? So if someone wants to talk about Tetris again, right? Like they go into lobby and it's, you know, people talk about random, just like completely unrelated stuff. As long if there's a Tetris channel, at least they can, you know, see like, oh, okay, well there's, you know, I have somewhere to talk about. Even if it's just like something, you know, lame, like, oh, you know, like I won the PPT, like I ranked up in PPT or something, right? Like at least that is Tetris related, right? Yeah, and there are some examples of people even in your mod team that are basically completely unrelated to Tetris, like Neo and Sid. They don't even like play at all. Okay. Apparently you're muted somehow. Okay, interesting. Give me 1 second to try and figure this out. How? I muted OBS. I did not mute you. What? It's because of Okay, I'm just gonna fucking disable alert box, I guess, because I'll just remove it. Okay. Okay. Wait, talk? Can
Testing.
Okay, you can hear what? Okay, anyways.
How long was that?
I think it was just about the part where
Is it just the moderating?
yeah, it was just about the moderating.
All right, so I was saying when I decide moderators for HardDrop, and this is how I've always been doing it. It's I don't look at do they play Tetris. I look at do I feel like they would be a good mod, or do I feel like they would make a fair judgment, or do they keep a level head? Are they cool when shit is about to hit the fan? Like, do I think that they will not like blow up and
For sure.
and, like,
You're basically looking at their character, right? Not
yeah,
their
I look at character.
skill
When it comes
specifically.
to moderation, I look at character. I'll say that straight up.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine, but I think one of the, I mean, this sort of, they all tie together, right? One of the issues is that, like, again, if someone is not, you know, good at Tetris, they cannot make a judgment call about, you know, how, like, you know, if someone is basically spreading wrong info, right? Like, that's sort of another issue. So maybe you could get some mods basically related to just maybe the Tetris,
specific?
yeah, the Tetris channel, the Tetris portion of the community specifically as well.
I see. So it's it sounds specifically like you're talking about the questions channel.
Well, once we get like the lobby, Tetris lobby, if we get that, then, you know, something like that as well, right? Just people related, you know, that are can be a bit more of an authority in these sorts of things, right? Because, like, you know, if someone who is not a Tetris guy, you know, says like, hey, that's wrong, like, you know, that's sort of, obviously we shouldn't trust, you know, like, obviously authority doesn't mean you're right, but like it's a good shortcut, right? So like as long as we have some people that are capable of moderating stuff like that, I think that's important.
Okay.
But yeah, these sorts of things are all basically related to just like, you know, getting more people and splitting things up and trying to just increase the average quality of hard drop in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I can. I mean, I can see the reason behind your criticism. The reasons behind your criticisms are to improve hard drop, and I do appreciate that. So
It's
yeah,
yeah. I mean, a lot of it's just like frustration because, you know, I've been around for like 2 years, and generally I've not seen anything improve, and I guess I've just been getting more frustrated about it. So this is a good opportunity, I guess, to vent that frustration, basically.
no, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, a lot of people think I'm like often super negative about stuff, and it's only I'm only negative just because I care, right? Like it's not, you know, I don't hate
No,
hard
I see
drop
that.
specifically. I don't want hard drop to fail. I just am disappointed with the direction hard drop was currently heading. But you know, if things improve, you know, I'm always down for that, right?
Yeah, I get that from you. Like I sense that from you. That you, if you start seeing things improve, then uh, your frustration will decrease.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, anyways, I think this has been good. If there's anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to talk about, we can do it now, I guess. But
No, that I feel like that covered pretty much the entire hard drop part of the FAQ.
mhm.
But yeah, as always, if anything comes up, we get. I feel like now we kind of know each other better, so we just chat about it.
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
Wait. Fizzle is talking about how they had to make a new channel because 4 people wouldn't stop talking. Are you aware of this? What channel are you talking about, Fizzle? I don't actually remember what he's talking about specifically.
I don't remember either, but
Is it
sounds
gaming?
like off topic.
Oh,
for
off
sure.
topic.
Off topic. Yeah,
Off
it was.
topic was
It was that was related to
and also anime and
Oh, so there, I mean, there's channels that I try out that I see is it gonna stay active or not. Like anime, I felt like was there's it was possible that that would be active and might have brought community like what I was mentioning earlier in the stream. How I think it is important to talk about other topics aside from just Tetris if you want a community to bond along other interests and things like that.
mhm.
So I see nothing wrong with talking about more than just Tetris, and I think I make that pretty clear with the channels that are on Hard Drop. But yeah, anime it was something that we tried out, and it was active for a little bit, and then it died down. So I was like, okay, if, there's no point in having this channel anymore.
I think I think still though like anime and like carb drop, those are all things that like honestly even gaming to a certain extent,
Yeah.
once you remove the Tetris from lobby and put it in its own place, I think basically all those channels can become one, right? Maybe share can stay, right? Because it's just links, but
But then, like, let's say, for example, food channel, you're gonna have food pictures being spammed in the lobby.
I
Type
mean,
of.
I
So
I don't
I
even know
think
why it
there's
exists in the first place. Like, I
I mean,
mean,
it's just
sure.
like you're sharing food, what you're eating with other people.
Food can go and share. Food is it's a picture, and pictures go and share, right? It seems perfectly reasonable.
This was like food's the only good channel.
And it's music. I don't know what the music channel's gone, right? There used to be like a music
Right.
channel. That's
That's a,
also share. Okay, people
yeah, that,
people
that's
really
really
like
share.
food. Okay, whatever. You can keep that. But
Music turned into share. Like it became part of the pictures and music sharing thing. So that got merged together. Like the thing about hard drop, like I'm open to testing things out and seeing what works, what doesn't. If it doesn't work, okay, we drop it. I don't think that's a big deal. And yeah, I don't think I think like with anything in life, you see what works, you see what doesn't.
sure. Yeah, but I think honestly the biggest change would be getting Tetris its own channel instead of
I
sort of
agree with you.
being a
I agree
mess
with you.
right now.
No, especially after our discussion today,
Yeah.
and what we're both seeing with the decreased amount of touches talking lobby. 'Cause, like, in fact, I think I might even put the touch channel above lobby.
Well, I mean, right now it's kind of split between you have a community tab and then you have a Tetris tab. So I guess logically it would make most sense to go into the Tetris tab, right?
Yeah. One thing I'm worried about that because they do have to scroll down some way to get there, and
Well, once you have that, you can sort of thin out the other channels, I think. Let me take a look. What do we have? Um, I mean, tweets can probably go at the bottom, honestly, right? Like, because there's integration now where you can see it on your homepage, so it doesn't really need to be at the top anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I believe if you're linked your Twitter and you're following, I think it shows up on your
Mm.
homepage or something like that.
Oh, all right.
So, and like there used to be like a whatever like announcements channel or something where like it would post like wiki changes and stuff like that. Was that stats or it was one of those channels, right?
Oh, yeah. If there was a stats and a wiki changes.
Yeah, that stuff used to be at like the bottom, right? I feel like
Mm.
and plus most people are probably like if they actually care about your tweets, they're probably following you on Twitter as well or following whoever.
That is a good point. I'll consider it. I'll consider it. I won't commit to anything yet on
Yeah,
what to do with the where to move the tweets channel.
for sure.
But
Think about it, but like
yeah, I'll think about it.
just in general because also we don't necessarily want to encourage people to just talk for no reason, so like lobby being the first channel and like the main channel, that's fine, right? Like if you want to say something, say it, but then like, oh, I want to say something Tetris related, okay, well at least you thought about what you were going to say,
Yeah.
or at least where it belongs, right? So
And
you're
actually,
gonna
now that I look at the channel layout, putting Tetris at the top of the Tetris category, that'll be fine.
yeah,
It's not-
yeah, just like
yeah,
lobby,
it's
like
very
Tetris lobby or
visible.
something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm down to try this out. I mean, I'm sure we'll keep it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Obviously, if it's a total dumpster fire, there needs to be some, reevaluation. But
Yeah. But that's one of the good things is like we right now like we have control over what we do with the server, so we can test things out.
mhm.
But yeah, let me see. Take a look at chat. If you guys have any questions, comments, people will always be drawn to Town Square. Generally, a channel. Like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. That's just the,
Yeah, I
the
agree with
main
that.
channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I created that lobby channel was how Tetranet had one the same way. And
Yeah,
that was
I mean
it's
that's
everywhere
perfectly
elected.
fine as long as there's another place for people who actually like want to have a good conversation, right?
Yeah, I mean about Tetris. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
every now and then there's some good conversation in lobby.
Yeah, it's mostly diluted by people just talking about random stuff, and like when I say random stuff, I don't mean just like a unrelated topic, just like completely random, like no, like non sequitur, right? Like just completely nothing.
HD is completely struck for that. That's why things got so bad. What do you mean, Garbo?
I think he's just memeing. I think he just because like Tetranet's really old, right? So he's just memeing that HardDrop is sort of outdated, I guess.
Oh, I see. TBT, David talking about how.
Who's David? I guess I'm not around enough to know who David is.
Never mind.
Oh,
I thought that
David's
was like-
wait, David Scan has a girlfriend? I didn't know that. I guess I really haven't been around.
David talking about how hot his girlfriend. Oh, he was doing that. Man, let him be proud. Why you hating, dude? He's doing it in lobby. Let the guy be proud of. He got a hot girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like the what OSK or OSK or whatever. What he's saying is basically true, right? Like it's okay if some of the Tetris conversation gets lost as long as we try and get the best part of it, right? Yeah, I'm not up to date with HardDrop lore.
It might also be worse in that it'll make people less inclined to talk about Tetris stuff because only like 10% of people ever leave the town. Gotcha. Yeah, and I think that's what it turned into. I think that's what
It's fine as people that we want the people that are willing to put a bit more effort in to talk, right? It's not, again, like this is kind of related to like why I called HardDrop a bit of a safe space, right? It's that like, yeah, like it's good to try and be inclusive and get as many people as possible, but like if you're not willing to put in some baseline effort into being constructive or anything, I feel like we gotta draw the line somewhere, right? You can't just have everyone. This isn't your personal like dumping grounds, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I understand, and yeah, well, the effort, yeah, I'm sure you'll see it in the coming weeks of things that are changing around the server.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay, as long as things improve, or well, at least as long as things change at all, I think we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I I think there was a misconception that by talking to me, nothing will happen. So why even bother? I think that might have been one of the reasons why people don't bother PMing me or reaching out to me. But I'm always open to listening. Like I'm here right now, and they're like, if I think it's a good idea, I would try it out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
a lot of these things and like other things that maybe we didn't talk about that maybe I didn't remember. A lot of them have been discussed before, just like in
all right.
those channels, but it's just maybe it's that people feel like you are more active in the server than you actually are, so they have like this false perception that you see, you know, what is being talked about, but then you just don't care or whatever. So maybe that's part of it as well, but like
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
I do think that there's a lot of what it is, what a lot of it comes down to, I think, is miscommunication between me and whoever it is. Like, I think communication can improve for sure.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with increasing the mod team and stuff like that, maybe those conversations as well will improve as well. So like, you know, it's not only like, hey, you know, you have to DM Blink and if he's sleeping, right? You can DM,
Right.
you know, another admin and they can, you know, discuss with each other, right?
Mhm.
You know, as to how to run the community and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah,
getting more
that's something
people involved
yeah,
as well will
that's something
make you
that's not
feel more
happening
accessible.
enough of. I would say I agree with you. That's not happening enough. Where getting with the mod team and discussing things together. So yeah, that's something I need to work on too. Like I mentioned before, it's a lot of it is, I don't know if it's because just my upbringing or what, but it's weird for me reaching out asking for help from people. That type of thing. It's uncomfortable to me. So it's something that I'm working on because I know I can't do this alone.
And Fizzle is just pointing out that mods are just people with a pretty color. So yeah, I think maybe the mods playing a bigger role in just, you know,
No,
community stuff in general as well.
I will say there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes that members don't see, and like if the mods weren't doing anything, then I feel like HardDrop would turn to crap, like in terms of like the like people breaking rules and things like that. But you don't really see the rules being broken
Okay,
because
yeah, I totally agree with you. But one thing, okay, yeah, roles. We should talk about roles actually. That's something I think not
okay.
just the mod role specifically, but just roles in general.
Oh, you're talking about roles, not rules. Roles.
Yeah, roles,
Okay,
like
okay,
the
yeah,
colors,
roles.
right?
Yes.
So
Okay. Let's talk about that. Yes.
yeah, so right now we have Tetramino and Contributor. I think those are the two biggest offenders right now. Everything else is
Part time, I
probably
agree
okay.
with you.
Hmm?
And yeah, I agree with you. I heard what you said. Yeah, I agree with you. It's already been talked about inside amongst the moderators. Like we talked about it a bit, and we're gonna redo the contributor and Tetramino role.
And also, just please do not make any of them like automated with like some sort of bot that scan. That is absolutely a ridiculous idea. Do not do that.
Okay, so I'm open to hearing your suggestions on how to handle some of these roles, like contributor and the Trump. So what we were initially discussing amongst the moderators is for contributor role, at least break it down to what did they contribute type of thing. So it's like, yeah, contributor graphics design, contributor wiki editor, that type of thing. And then, but the Tetramino role, that one I don't know how to handle. Like I was
That
thinking,
one just needs to go in the dumpster. I think just
like,
like some servers have just like color assignments. So if people just feel like they need a color, like you can do that, or just like and then splitting up the contributor role into specific things. So like yeah, like someone who is, you know, good at answers a lot of questions, contributes to a lot of good discussions, you know, edits the wiki, that stuff. They can get like a Tetris role or something, like a Tetris contributor, or like a skilled player role. Although that sort of crosses a line where it sort of becomes like, you know, who has authority, but like still just
right.
giving like a role like that, like Tetris related contributions and then community related contributions. So someone who is you know, you know, the editor for HardDrop, or you know, makes a bunch of like graphics, those guys can, you know, be differentiated, right? Because whether you like to admit it or not, roles and like authority play a big influence into whether people trust you or not. And when you see someone who has a green color and you have no color, and you ask a question and a green guy responds or a purple guy responds, you're like, oh, this guy is probably important, right? But but you know, that guy could just have made, you know, like an emote, right? And they have no idea how to play Tetris, right?
No, I agree. I think one of the problems is it's started getting so diluted. Like the roles were being, and I'm the blame for this, but the roles were being given out too easily.
Yeah,
And
like
so
just to like
green is
literally
given to
everyone, right?
yeah. So green is to everyone. Basically, you talk on the server, you get it. So that's not that we're obviously changing that. We're gonna remove it from everyone who already has it now. Same thing with contributor, except like give it back to the people, but into correct category.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone will get it. Like just the people who actually deserve the contributor role. There's some who maybe they made an emote like 2 years ago and then they never came back to the server. That doesn't make sense for them to keep the
And I
emote.
mean, if they like deserve it, they can always talk to you, right? And you can figure it out,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
not
yeah, so, yeah.
it's not like a big, it's not it's not a permanent thing, right?
Right. It's not. And yeah, but the thing about the roles is, yeah, it was already being talked about. Maybe couple weeks ago we were talking about it. It's just I never. So yeah, never
Yeah,
got
just
around to
getting
it.
getting
It's a lot.
around to doing these things is what I'm what the most important thing to me, right? Like just to actually have some tangible changes
Yeah,
to the server and community in general.
yeah, and I think that's what the community is looking for. So I think you're right. As long as they can see things happening, if the community starts seeing things happening, they'll calm down a bit in terms of the frustrations
Mm-hmm.
that they're experiencing or feeling. But yeah, the roles are going to be reset pretty much for contributor and tetromino. And I don't know yet how to handle tetromino, but I'm not gonna do the. I really don't want to do the like just assign a color of your choosing type
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, just not having it is fine. Like, I mean, there's, roles are supposed to be special, right? You don't need to make everyone feel special, otherwise, no one's special, right?
That is true. Yeah, so many people have it that so I think
It's just the default
someone
color.
said something. I think it was either Daguerre or Popty or something, but they were saying so everybody has it, so it means nothing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people care about the color, the color role is an option, but I mean that's up to you to decide. But yeah, like there's basically no point to have it,
Mm.
at this point.
Unless there is a meaning behind it, which right now there's no meaning because right now it's just you chat, you get it. Okay, yeah. No, I see issues with the roles for sure. It's and the mod team already brought it up as well. So that is yeah, that's one of those things about getting to it, getting to doing something about it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Fizzle. There is no meaning behind it because it's been given out to so many. But the plan is to have meaning behind the contributor
I
role
mean,
as
I
well.
mean, there's some meaning, but the meaning is easily confused, right? Like,
Yeah, because
there's no
some people,
distinction.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, the goal is to have meaning behind some of those roles again. But yeah, that's it on my end. You guys have further questions, or you wanna?
Yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I guess we'll open it up to chat again, and otherwise, that'll be that.
Okay, I'll probably stick around for like if you guys have questions, I'll probably answer for like another 12 minutes. I'm gonna eat lunch. I didn't eat.
And I mean, of course, you can obviously reach out to Blink as well
Yes, yes.
via private message or whatever DMs.
That's the best way to handle these. I think just talk to me in DMs.
Yeah.
Like if I don't answer right away, I'm busy for a bit, but I'll get to responding to
And just keep spamming him until he replies.
you. There. What rank are you now, by the way?
I don't play CS:GO.
Oh, okay, okay. Just today for this.
Yeah, it's just something to do. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a black screen. It's gonna be really boring.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
It's just something to look at least.
Hmm.
So I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm just dying repeatedly.
I can see this. All right, it looks like no questions coming in. So yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, thanks a lot for what is this? An hour and a half of your time, and just like clearing the air with me. I know, yeah, it it took a lot. It took effort to come to this and just like talk about your concerns, and also even creating the fact and even creating that section
hmm
on it.
Yeah, I mean, if things improve, I'm definitely okay with putting the FAQ back, as long as all the other changes come with it as well, not just having an
Okay,
FAQ in
okay,
general. Yeah.
I like that compromise. So yeah, changes will be made. And when you feel like you're comfortable with it, we'll just for the FAQ channel, we'll pin yours in there instead.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So Firestorm's asking about the VODs. So yeah. So basically, we're talking about getting some sort of editor and making a separate channel basically for all of
Yeah.
those things as well.
Yeah. Um, pretty sure I won't commit to it yet, but pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. Is that I'm gonna create a separate channel a separate YouTube channel for hard drop videos only. About the editing thing, it's gonna we're
Yeah,
gonna have to
obviously that'll take some work. You have
prioritize.
to
Yeah,
vet people out and see if, they actually are good enough at editing in the first place and stuff like that. Figure out how you're going to pay them or if they'll volunteer
yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, like these changes should happen. Otherwise, it's wasted opportunity, right? You have a bunch of content. It's just in such a basically like low effort form that no one's willing to consume it.
Exactly, and it's one of the reasons why we haven't uploaded the HDO VODs yet. HDO VODs aren't uploaded yet because yeah, we want to not just be one big old VOD anymore. Just split it up into actual watchable material.
Yeah, like highlight. And yeah, and just like even uploading them like, with a schedule so it's not like all at once and basically
Yeah,
spam
it's
stuff like that.
a lot of things. I might even yeah. There's something I'm gonna ask for help for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there should be people that are capable of managing a YouTube channel as well that you could probably reach out to.
In my opinion, you should commit to it. I'm pretty close to it. I just on the stream itself, I don't want to commit anything on the stream. And then yeah, but it's pretty sure it's gonna be done. Fizzle.
I mean, doesn't I guess yeah, even like GDQ and stuff, they like edit their VODs. Well, at least
They
they
do.
like crop them or like cut them.
They cut it down to individual matches, and then they add like
Yeah, yeah.
highlighting and banners and things in it. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, like if you guys know someone within the community who does that, uh, if you can like send them my way, and maybe if you know how much they charge, that's one of my concerns actually is how much they charge because the money that I make on the Twitch channel, like a lot of that is back to the community and tournaments and things already anyways. Like yeah, so it's it's gonna depend on how much it costs too. Like obviously that's a concern of mine.
I mean, you could probably work it out as well, and maybe like for some things like tournaments or whatever, as part of the prize pool or whatever, like just some small portion can go to like
To
people
go towards
editing as well.
like a hard drop fund.
Yeah, exactly. Something like there is money, and I think you can figure out a way and work out a deal with them as well, because like it depends on what they want as well.
Yeah, I mean I mentioned it before, but I don't care about the money made from the YouTube. Like right now, my channel's not even monetized. So if giving that up or even a portion of it to bring in an editor who's willing to do that,
It'll probably be all of it because you won't.
won't even
YouTube
make
ad revenue is not super great, so.
yeah, it won't even make much. So okay,
And like even getting things like sponsors and stuff as well, I think is important. Maybe, obviously, it's a lot of work to contact people, but maybe you can, work with someone who has, these has the ability, well, maybe not even connections, but just like decent writing skills, I guess, so that they can, try and get some connections, try and find
Yeah.
people to, sponsor stuff, because, there's a lot of good stuff, right, in Tetris, but basically none of it is being leveraged right now, and that's why the community hasn't grown that much. I mean, you look at CTWC, right, and it's like leagues bigger than Guideline in popularity, at least, right?
yeah. Hmm. But yeah, I'm super excited about the like I'm gonna create another channel for people to suggest programs that they want to stream on the channel. I think this is one of those rare situations where Hard Drop channel is like one of the only channels that will probably have people streaming, other people streaming on it.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like just random people, right? But like, as long as you just need to make it like a show, right? Like something that feels like effort
purpose,
has been put in and is like being produced, right? That way people actually care about it. Because otherwise, it's just some random guy stream, and like there's so many streams right now that like why watch this over any other stream, right?
right. Okay. Yeah, I'll likely be making that channel either today or tomorrow.
Okay, so I guess Tetris CPM is better than most gaming content. Is that just because you ask your viewers to click on the ads, Garbo?
Tetris CPM or CTM? CPM.
I think isn't CPM like clicks per minute or something, or it's like revenue cost per mile.
Cost per mile. I don't even know. Tetris cost per mile is better than most gaming.
What?
What?
Cost per million. Oh, cost per million. Yeah, yeah. He's saying like your ads earn more money because there's more like
Oh,
engagement or whatever.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, but like, you know, what Tetris video is getting a million views unless it's from someone who has, you know, like whatever, right?
I think Dormy has some. Dormy has some million viewings.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's very few and far between.
Yeah. And not to mention, this channel would be from scratch, so it would have zero subs or anything.
But
like that.
as long as there's effort being put in, I think people, you know, people.
Yeah.
I think people are looking for Tetris content to watch, but basically the only Tetris content is Twitch and VODs of Twitch. So, you know, like you really have nothing to watch if you're a Tetris fan. Or tournaments, which are basically Twitch Twitch VODs.
4 months of YouTube revenue is what I got first day, 70th place on Twitch. Oh dang. Twitch community is desperate for stuff to watch. I hear you guys. I honestly, I'm kind of excited, or I'm not even gonna lie. I'm super excited about opening the channel up for other people to to stream their own programming on it. Like I hope people take up on that offer.
And like actually make good use of it as well. But you know, all of these things need to be vetted as well. I don't want it to become like a dumpster fire where like just a bunch of random people are on just like, you know, streaming Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah, that's what happened before. That is the reason we stopped doing that, is because it was just people streaming random things.
Yeah, like the auditions or something like that would be good as well.
It would be, I think like one of the questions would probably like but what would I get out of it? Like what would that person get out of it?
You get to stream on a channel that has a lot more viewers.
Yeah, and you would be able to plug your stream, advertise yourself. I'm completely cool with that.
I feel like Tetrio ad spaces wouldn't make any money because I feel like everyone uses ad block. I think you're better off just getting donations off of the goodwill of people because you're not putting ads than to put ads and make like no money because people are.
I think your Patreon is really cool. Ask people who are paying for the custom color, not custom color, the orange color, supporter tag or badge. Save up for custom Kagari body pillow. All right, and then on that note, I think it's time to get lunch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That about wraps it up. Okay.
All right, man. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the talk. I didn't know what to expect going into this, to be honest. But
I'd like to think I'm a pretty reasonable person, even though people might think I am aggressive. But I don't know.
You definitely sound reasonable on this conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, dude.
All right. See you around, I guess. Hopefully things look better in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, chat. See you guys.
All right. Bye.